Hi, hello friends. Welcome to this class again. And the last class we were discussing about how effectively government is trying to eradicate poverty and ensure food security in India. And we said government is introducing three types of cards. One is Antyodaya card, which is meant for the poorest of the poor in the society. Maybe the old people, nobody is there to look after them, and people who are retired, people who are sick, and so it is meant for them. Antyodaya card, and they will get price at a very and the things at a very low price. And people who are little more rich, but they are not that rich, they are called BPL people, below poverty line, and they will be given also things which are maybe little more costly. Then people, other people, they are called APL, above poverty line. They will be given things maybe charged a little more higher. So these three types of people are there in India who are able to buy things from the ration shops. Now let's continue with that. How government is functioning that distribution of food through ration shops or fair price shops. You can take page number 48. So the introduction of rationing in India dates back to 1940s against the backdrop of the Bengal famine. So earlier we studied that in 1943 there was a great famine in Bengal and 30 lakh people died. So because of that, government determined or took a decision that we will never allow such a famine to take place in India again and allow the people to die. So government took that precaution in order to avoid such kind of tragedy from being repeated, and that's why this rationing system started. And the rationing system was revived in the wake of an acute food shortage during the 1960s prior to the Green Revolution. So, before starting of that Green Revolution where the food grains were plenty, before that in 1960s, government was struggling or the people of India were struggling because there was a very acute, very strong food shortage was there. And in the wake of high incidence of poverty levels, as reported by NSSO in the mid 1970s, three important food intervention programs were introduced. So many people reported that in 1960s and 1970s there is a lot of food scarcity is there, poverty is there. So government immediately took action in order to solve that problem, in order to help those poor people suffering from poverty and so on. How did the government act? Government started some food programs. Three important food programs were started, and one is called public distribution system PDS that we already saw in the last class. That government, what the food grain that is in the storeroom, in the godown, that is distributed to different people through different fair price shops. We have more than 4 lakhs fair price shops are there throughout our country, and people can go to the nearby shop and buy things. And so public distribution system for food grains in existence earlier by strengthened thereafter. Then integrated child development services. Another program that the government started was integrated child development services ICDS. That is introduced in 1975 on an experimental basis. We can underline when was ICDS introduced. It was in 1975. Then Food for Work program, that is called FFW, Food for Work program. So people who have nothing to eat come and do the work, and government will give them food grains. So instead of giving them money, government will give them food items so they can buy and they can have their food. And that was introduced in 1977-78. You can underline that also. When was the Food for Work program introduced? Then, over the years, several new programs have been launched and some have been restarted structured with a growing experience of administering the programs. And at present, there are several poverty alleviation programs are there. Poverty alleviation program, short form is known as PAPS. And mostly in rural areas which have an explicit food component also. While some of the programs such as PDS, midday meals, etc. are exclusively food security programs, most of the PAPs, that is poverty alleviation programs, also enhance food security. So government introduced these three food security programs in order to help the people, and people have recovered from that acute poverty. They have come up, they have something to eat regularly, nobody is dying out of hunger and so on. So therefore government changed the programs according to the need. Some places poverty was still there, but some places poverty was already removed. Therefore, where there is more poverty was there, government was concentrating on there to provide more food and so on. So government saw the problems of the society, and accordingly they were acting and providing programs and helps. And employment programs greatly contribute to food security by increasing the income of the poor. So government also introduced employment programs. People who have no work, no programs for earning. Government will call them, come, work here, do this work, we will pay you. So government will pay them regularly, and they are able to enrich themselves. Instead of simply sitting at home saying, I have no work, go and cooperate with the government, do the work that they are giving and earn money, and with that money they can buy whatever they want. So that way government improved the financial conditions of the poor people also. Then there is some suggested activities there. Gather detailed information about some of the programs initiated by the government which have food components. So in your area or in your village, try to inquire the people, your parents or maybe the leaders, village leaders, try to find them. What are the food programs government introduced in our village? Is there any people suffering due to hunger in our village? Is there PDS functioning properly, or the fair price shop functioning properly? All these things you try to inquire and try to find out how it is working and so on. Then some hint they are given. Rural Wage Employment Program, Employment Guarantee Scheme, Sampurna Gramin Rochar Yojana, Midday Meal, Integrated Child Development Services, etc. So these are some of the programs that the government has introduced for the poor people. And you find out whether these programs are available in your village or not. People are able to get benefit from these programs or not. Whereas sometimes maybe officers are appointed, things may be sent there, they may be selling it away to somebody else, and poor people may not be getting it. So you can just try to inquire and find out whether what is the situation in your village, whether it is really functioning or not. Then let us see about one of the programs that the government introduced, that is called National Food for Work Program. National Food for Work Program. National Food for Work Program was launched in November 14, 2004 in 150 most backward districts of the country, with the objective of intensifying the generation of supplementary wage employment. So you can underline, when was this program introduced? It was November 14, 2004. And it was introduced in 150 most backward districts of India. So it was identified that people of this district is very poor, or people of that district. So like that, 150 districts were selected in order to implement this program, National Food for Work Program. And the program is open to all rural poor who are in need of wage employment and desire to do manual and skilled work. So people who are poor, those who are ready to do this work, they can come. It will be a manual work, not office work, and it is unskilled work. That means no need of any training. Maybe cutting rods, or maybe cleaning the rods, maybe cleaning the drain, and so like cleaning public places and so. So people who are willing to do this work unskilled manual work, then they can come and they can get the money and improve their financial conditions. And it is implemented as a 100% centrally sponsored scheme, and the food grains are provided to states free of cost. So this program is sponsored by the central government, but each district where it is selected, the government will provide food grain to that state. So those who are working in that district, they will distribute. So state government has no expense at all. They only just monitor it. And so the central government will provide the grains free of cost to the state, and the state will distribute to people who are working, coming for working. Then the collector is the nodal officer at the district level and has the overall responsibility of planning, implementation, coordination, monitoring and supervision. You know, every district there is a collector. DC is a district collector. So he is in charge of this overseeing the program. He is the nodal officer. So he has to see which are the people coming for work and how much food are to be given to them, all that. So he is responsible for that. And for 2004-2005, rupees 2020 crore have been allotted for the program in addition to 20 lakh tons of food grains. So in order to implement this work properly, for the year 2004 and 2005, the central government spent 2020 crore rupees in order to help these people, the poor people, and also 20 lakh tons of food grains were also supplied by the central government. So it was an initiative of the central government to provide food for the people, and money as well as the food grains, the expenses, everything was met by the central government. So the state government had no expenses in this program. It was completely managed by or sponsored by the central government. Now let us see what is the current status of public distribution system. So all the times we said it was done, and now let us see how it is going on at present, how effectively it is being practiced. So public distribution system, that is PDS, is the most important step taken by the government of India. So it is one of the most important system or step that government took initiative in order to remove poverty from India. And in the beginning, the coverage of PDS was universal with not discrimination between the poor and the non-poor. So in the beginning, how did they introduce? There was no difference. All those who want can go and buy. Poor people also, rich people also can go and buy. And over the years, the policy related to PDS has been revised to make it more efficient and targeted. So government realized that the poor people don't need to get for discount rate. They have got enough money to buy. Therefore, government changed some of the rules of this PDS. In 1992, a revamped public distribution system, that is RPDS, was introduced in 1,700 blocks in the country. So government made some changes and introduced a new system. It is called RPDS, revamped PDS. Revamp, that means change or improved PDS, that's the meaning. So 1,700 districts blocks were chosen in the country in order to introduce this new or improved method of PDS. And the target was to provide the benefits of PDS to remote and backward areas, because government realized at present even the rich people are benefiting from this PDS. Therefore, more advantage should be given to the rural people. More advantage should be given to people who are very poor, living in the rural backward areas and so on. And from June 1997, in a renewed attempt, targeted public distribution system was introduced to adopt the principle of targeting the poor in all areas. So in 1997, government changed some more rules and introduced a different type of PDS, that is targeted PDS. That means T stands for targeted. So it is not given to all the people, but specially chosen people. Maybe people who are very old, those who have no land at all, those who are struggling to survive. So in order to empower such people, government introduced this new system or improved system. First it was PDS, then it became revamped PDS, now it became targeted PDS. So government sees the need of the situation, accordingly they are changing the rules. Then it was for the first time that the differential price policy was adopted for the poor and non-poor. So when government introduced this PDS, government brought the price differences. Before the price was same for all. Now the price difference is brought out. So further in 2000, two special schemes were launched, that is Antyodaya Anna Yojana, that we already saw, Antyodaya Anna Yojana, and the Annapurna scheme with the special target groups of poorest of the poor and indigent senior citizens respectively, and the functioning of these two schemes was linked with the existing network of PDS. So government introduced two more programs or three more programs. What are they? Two special schemes were launched. One is Antyodaya Anna Yojana and another one is Annapurna Yojana, with the special target groups of poorest of the poor and indigent senior citizens respectively. So these two programs were meant for two different people. Antyodaya Anna Yojana, it was meant for the poorest of the poor, to find out the very poor people of the society and help them. That was Antyodaya Anna Yojana. And the second program was Annapurna scheme. That was meant for whom? It was meant for the indigent senior citizens. Indigent means those who are very poor, those who are senior citizens, those who are very old and those who are very poor. So maybe the farmers who retired or cannot work anymore, or the people who worked in the office and now retired, no more work, no more strength to work, or the orphan people and so on. So those senior citizens who are very poor, so they are selected, and this Annapurna Yojana was for them, Annapurna scheme. So these are the two schemes that government introduced in order to help these poor people in the society. Now there is a chart given, the page number 49. Let's just see to compare the programs in different years. So the PDS up to 1992, it was meant for all the people, universal. All the people were allowed to buy things. And what was the price? Wheat was given for 2.34 rupees per kg. So wheat price was just 2.34 rupees. Then rice was given for 2.89 paise. So less than 3 rupees. That was, so even the poor people can afford to that. Then afterwards, revamped PDS system came, RPDS, and that was in 1992, and it was meant for whom? Only for backward people, not meant for all the people, it was meant for backward people. Then how much they can get? They can get 20 kgs of grain in a month, they can get 20 kgs. And what was the price? The price was wheat for 2.80 paise. Then rice was meant for 3 rupees and 77 paise. So quite cheap that also. Then afterwards they started TPDS, and that was in 1997. Then it was meant for poor and non-poor. This was meant for the poor people and those who are not poor as well. And they will be given 35 kgs of food grain. One person will get 35 kg of food grain, and the price is different. Those who are BPL, they have to pay for wheat 2.5 rupees, Then for rice, 3.5 rupees. And other people who are not poor, those who are above BPL, that is they are APL, above poverty line, for wheat they have to pay 4.50 paise. Then rice is 7 rupees. So there is a difference in price. For those who are below BPL, below poverty line, they get cheaper. And those who are above poverty line, they have to pay a little more higher. But still it is less than the market rate. Then Antyodaya Anna Yojana, that was introduced in the year 2000, and the target group, it was meant for poorest of the poor. Then 35 kgs of food grains will be given to them. Wheat was given for 2 rupees and rice was given for 3 rupees per kg. Then Annapurna scheme, that also was introduced in the year 2000. Then it was meant for indigent senior citizens, that means poor senior citizens, old people. And they will be given 10 grams of food grains. And it was given free. They don't need to pay any money. It was given completely free. So that was the schemes of the government introduced in order to help the poor people and so on. Now come back to page number 15. Some important features of PDS are summarized in table 4.3. That is what we saw. The table, we saw the important features. Then some more features we will study later again. The PDS has proved to be the most effective instrument of government policy over the years in stabilizing prices and making food available to the consumers at affordable price. So we saw the prices are sold, things are sold at a very cheap price, 2 rupees, 3 rupees, 4 rupees and so on. So it is very cheap. In the market it is 15 rupees, 20 rupees, 30 rupees, but in the fair price shop it is much cheaper. And so it is one of the most effective programs of the government. It has been instrumental in averting widespread hunger and famine by supplying food from surplus regions of the country to the deficit ones. So where there is more food is produced, government will buy food from them and will supply to the place where there is food is lacking, where the food crop was not so good. That way government made the balance is kept. In addition, the prices have been under revision in the favor of poor households in general. And we saw government is fixing the price according to the financial condition of the people. Those who are very poor, like senior citizens, poor senior citizens, they are given free. No money is charged. Those who are below BPL, they are given 2 rupees, 3 rupees and so on. Those who are above APL, they are asked 4 rupees, 5 rupees, 7 rupees and so on. So according to the financial condition of the people, government is fixing the price. And the system, including the minimum support price and the procurement, has contributed to an increase in food grain production and provided income security to farmers in certain regions. However, the public distribution system has faced severe criticism on several grounds. Instances of hunger are prevalent despite overflowing granaries. So FCI godowns are overflowing with grains, with some rotting away and some being eaten by rats. The graph 4.2 shows the rising stock of food grains till 2002. So we said the PDS is one of the most effective method of government providing food for the people. But we find there is some kind of mismanagement also is there. So the public distribution system has faced severe criticism on several grounds. Many people have criticized the PDS system. Why? Let us see. Instances of hunger are prevalent despite overflowing granaries. So many godowns are filled with food grains, but at the same time in many parts of India people are starving, people are dying out of hunger and so that means food grain is there but government is failing to distribute. They are not able to distribute, or they have no interest to distribute, and so on. And the godowns are overflowing with grains, with some rotting away. So it is stored and kept there, and it is getting rotten and getting spoiled. So government is not doing anything in order to help the people who are in need. They are just don't bother at all. The food grain is getting rotten and getting spoiled, and some are eaten by rats, and so on. People are not able to eat, but rats can come and eat. So that is a pitiable condition there. And you can see the graph 4.2 that in July 1 there is so much of stock, 60 plus million tons, 61.7 million tons are there. Then it became July 2002, it became 63. It is improvement is there, more stock is there. Then in the next year July, what happened? The stock came down. From 63 million tons, it came down to 35.2 million tons. Then in 2004 July, it came down again. It came down to 29.9 million tons. And at the end, it became 2005, it became 21.7. So below there is a blue line is there. That is the buffer norm. That is, government says minimum should be there. This year minimum it should be 24.3. But actual collection was 61. So almost 3 times more it was collected. Government had collected. Everywhere we can see the red line is above the blue line. That is more than what was required. Government had already collected, but government failed to distribute to every needy person. That was the mistake of the government. Government had to take some extra interest in order to distribute these food grains to the poor people. Then they would have benefited from it. Now let's see about that government scheme called Antyodaya Anna Yojana. So Antyodaya Anna Yojana was launched in December 2000, and under the scheme 1 crore of the poorest among the BPL families covered under the targeted public distribution system were identified. So this program was started, we already said, in 2000, and the target was to help the people who are BPL, below poverty line. So how many people were targeted? 1 crore. 1 crore families were selected in order to get the benefit of this food program. And poor families were identified by the respective state rural development departments through a below poverty line survey. So government made a survey and found out what is the income of the people, and those who are got below that poverty line, they were selected in order to receive the benefit from this. So that is how 1 crore families were selected. Then 25 kilograms of food grains were made available to each eligible family at a highly subsidized rate of rupees 2 per kg for wheat and rupees 3 per kg for rice. So these 1 crore families that were selected, they were given food grains, rice and wheat at a very low price. The wheat was given for 2 rupees and rice was given for 3 rupees. So that is very cheap. Even the poorest people could buy that. Then this quantity has been enhanced from 25 to 35 kgs with effect from April 2002. So when the program was started in 2000, the amount of wheat they could buy was, or the grain they could buy was 25 kg. After 2 years, government increased it. Instead of 25 kg, government said you can buy 35 kgs. Then the scheme has been further expanded twice by additional 50 lakh BPL families in June 2002-3 and in August 2004. So in the beginning it was 1 crore family. Then after 3 years, the government found out there are more people are there who are poor. Therefore 50 lakhs families more were added. That means now total 1.5 crore. Earlier it was 1 crore, now 50 lakhs more added, so another half crore more. So 1.5 crore families are benefiting from this. And with this increase, 2 crore families have been covered under AAY. So first in the 2003, 50 lakh families were added. In 2004 again another 50 families more, 50 lakh families more added. So it became total 2 crore families. So 2 crore families are able to get the benefit of this Antyodhana and Apyodhana. It is a great program introduced by the central government in order to eradicate the poverty from India. So even the poor people, those who have got 2 rupees, they can go and buy 1 kg wheat and eat. Or they have 3 rupees means they can go and buy 1 kg rice. And they are given 35 kg, so that is more than enough for 1 month. So they can comfortably live without starvation, without struggling, without getting hunger and so. So these are the steps that government is taking in order to make sure that the people have got enough food to eat and so on. And we also will see in the next page there's a small column. Subsidy is a payment that a government makes to a producer to supplement the market price of a commodity. Subsidies can keep consumer prices low while maintaining a higher income of domestic producers. So government will give this subsidy in order to help the producers. Government makes to a producer to supplement to the market price of a commodity. So in order to make it equal to the market price, government is giving a help, that is called subsidy. And subsidies can keep consumer prices low while maintaining a higher income for domestic producers. So people who want to buy, they can get it cheaper. But the farmer is not going to suffer. The government will give him some subsidy. So the money that the farmer is losing, the government will give him. That way farmer will be getting benefit and the customers who are buying from the farmer also will be benefiting. That is called subsidy. So that is a way of government to help the poor people, at the same time encourage the farmers to cultivate more, to produce more and so on. So that way government has really seen the problem of the people and they are trying their level best. Though there are lapses are there here and there, we saw in the case of FCI Godown where the food grains are getting lost and getting spoiled and so. So some officers are not responsible, they are careless, they are not caring so much. But as a whole we can say government has done well in order to make the food available to all types of people throughout the country, to the poor people, to the old senior citizens. Everyone is taken care and the government is doing their level best in order to eradicate this poverty from our country. So thank you for listening. We'll meet again in the next class and we will complete this economic lesson, economic syllabus, and we will study other lessons as well later, other geography lessons. So thank you and have a nice day. Bye.